Hi! Hi there! Hello! Welcome to another episode of Contemporary Pwatree Chit-Chat. I'm your host, Dan Libman, with another contemporary poem for you to look at. Well, this week in America, it is Easter week, and so I wanted to have an Easter poem to share with you, a contemporary one. So I Yahooed contemporary Pwatree, and it turns out that poets don't write a lot about religion, and particularly not about Christianity. So there just wasn't much here. But I did find a poem, a very special poem. Here it is. It's called Thanksgiving, which is another American holiday. And one of the reasons it's so special is it's by Billy Collins. And he's not just a regular poet, he is the poet laureate. Now, for those of you who aren't as familiar with contemporary poetry as I am, you should know that, or you will learn that the poet laureate is an honor given to any poet at any specific time in America whoever it is the number one poet, like the greatest poet at that particular time. He or she gets to be the poet laureate for that period of time. And according to Yahoo, Billy Collins was the number one poet from 2001 to 2003, and that's when he got to be the poet laureate. And then he handed over the mantle to the up and comer Louise, and she got to be the poet laureate at that point. And then since then, we've had a number of poets: Wis Merwin, Karian, Charles Simic, Donald Hall, and of course, even if you don't follow poetry, you remember the big scandal around Ted Kooser when he had the poet laureateship, and he got caught selling those Ted Kooser koozies, and you have a cold one with Ted Kooser, and so he was using it to profit, and they kicked him out. Poetry can be a very anyway. Here's the poem, and this was published by Huffington Post. The thing about the huge platter of sliced celery, broccoli florets, and baby tomatoes you had arranged to look like a turkey with its tail fanned out was that all our guests were so intimidated by the perfection of the design, no one dared disturb the symmetry by removing so much as the nub of a carrot. Well, there's a lot going on already. So with the voice is it's clearly a person speaking to his or her spouse, and he's saying, "You did a good job with the turkey," and it's a poem because it's a broccoli floret. It's not just broccoli; it's a turkey nub. Or excuse me, a carrot nub, not just a carrot. And so now we know nobody's going to eat no one's going to eat that we've set up this situation. No one will eat the vegetable turkey. All right, stanza 2. And the other thing about all that was that it took only a few minutes for the outline of the turkey to disappear once the guests were encouraged to dig in, so that no one else would have guessed that this platter of scattered vegetables ever bore the slightest resemblance to a turkey or any other 2- or 4-legged animal. So I guess the guests wouldn't eat the turkey, but then in the next, you skip a space and now they are eating it. And that gives you another opportunity for some hilarious jokes. And I like this last line here, or any other 2- or 4-legged animal. Not a lot of people know this, but some poets are paid by the word, so you're going to want to stick as many in there as you can. It reminded me of the sand mandalas. Okay, I was just thinking, just like you, is this a poem or what is it? Now we've got it, the sand mandalas of Tibet. Once you mention that, we're dealing with a poem here. Mandala. What? Mandala. Okay, go back to sleep. We'll wake you up. Hey, Mr. Contemporary Pwatree's wife has got a pronunciation correction. It reminded me of the sand mandala, so carefully designed by Tibetan monks, and then just as carefully destroyed by lines scored across the diameter of the circle. The variously colored blah, 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 blah. Again, paid by the word. Only in this case of the vegetable turkey, with a reminder was never intended. It keeps going on and on and on. Finally it ends. I was too busy slicing up even more vivid lessons of impermanence. Ooh, vivid lessons of impermanence. To notice. I mean the real turkey minus its head and colorful feathers, and the ham minus the pig, minus its corkscrew tail, and minus the snout once happily slathered in mud. Yeah, I like a poem that's about a turkey that nobody will eat, and then everybody eats it, and then it ends up being about a pig for no apparent reason. That's awesome. And if you go to Billy Collins' house, you get vegetable turkey, and you get actual turkey, and you get ham. They know how to put on a feed over at the Collinses, and I think it's because you get paid buku bucks when you are the poet laureate. I hear by the classy classical music that our time together is over for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Do good work. Enjoy your Easter. Gobble gobble. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye now. Hey, I knew how to pronounce that.